so much for speaking with me today.
Thank you for talking to me.
No problem. Let's talk the movie. So my first question for you is, how did you get involved in it?
Just like really anything, I got an audition for my agent. So that was the first of me hearing about Perfect Addiction. And then when I got the audition, I saw that Castile Landon was directing it, and I had worked with her on After 3 and 4. So I was really excited. And then I read the script and I loved it. So then I put myself on tape for the audition. And then I think it took about a month until I heard back that I got the role. But that's how it all started. Yeah, just like a regular audition.
What drew you to wanting to be a part of it, though? What was it about this character when you were reading through the script or through the audition sheet that you were like, I have to play this character?
It's not very often that at least I can speak for myself as a woman. I receive opportunities to play a character who is so dynamic. Like Sienna is extremely determined. She's strong physically, mentally. The training I knew it would be a challenge for me, and I love being challenged in my craft. So the fact that she was an MMA trainer and fighter, and it was a romance. I've always wanted to do a romance. I had never done one before. So to me, it just checked off so many of the boxes of what I was wanting to challenge myself with.
So when did you end up reading the book?
Yes, I read the book after we finished filming, because it's a little bit different, and I wanted to bring my own fresh perspective to Sienna. But I did read the book after we wrapped, and I absolutely love it. And oddly enough, I do feel like there's so many similarities between like myself and the way I played it and the character on the page. So that was just very divine, and I really enjoyed reading it.
Was it weird, though, after having portrayed the character on screen, then to read her and be like, oh, so this is how she was interpreted?
I definitely had some of those moments. I was like, oh, I think that's kind of why I didn't want to read it at first, though, because I like, as an actor, I think I always want to just come with my own instincts a lot of the time. And as much as we have to be obedient to what's on page and take direction and everything, I think if I had read the book, I would have overanalyzed it completely and not been able to just show up on set and be present and work off of my own instincts. Because even when I was reading it after, there were some things that I was like, oh, she seems maybe a little bit more quirky in some moments, like differences like that. But all in all, I'm really happy with my portrayal of her. And Claudia Tan, who wrote the book, has also has told me that she's really happy with it. So I have no complaints.
Oh, good. That's why it has to be a good feeling, though, when you hear the author who actually created the character turn to you and be like, yeah, you did it. You pulled this off.
Yes, exactly. That was my goal, and I received that from her. So I was like, nice.
Well, to go back on something that you said, what I really loved about this character was she was mentally and physically fit. She very much knew what she wanted. She was not going to play the damsel in distress. She wasn't going to take a back seat to her male counterpart. She was very much, this is my story, and I'm going to tell my story. So how do you prep for something like that? How do you prep for the physicality of the role, but also the mental fitness of the role?
Honestly, prepping for the physicality of the role actually helped me in turn prep for how mentally strong she is, because I was training 5 times a week, hours, like 2 to 3 hours every day, and for 2 months. So even that discipline really helped me get into the mindset of how I think Sienna is, like very determined, very disciplined. And I think like, just working out and fighting, that also builds a certain type of fire inside of you. And it definitely did that for me. So then when it came down to standing head to head with these guys, I felt like I just kind of stepped into it naturally on set. I think it really had a lot to do with the physical training for sure. But then also, I think I can really relate as a human to caring about something and being passionate and wanting to fight for something. And Sienna just has like such a big fight in her. So it was fun to tap into that. And I think I welcomed it with open arms. And especially like working with Matthew and Ross, they're like literally a foot taller than me. So it was really fun to be like, you don't scare me. It was
but
like
you held
really
your
fun.
own. Yeah, held
Yeah.
your own. I think that what was so important is even though they're a foot taller than you, you're standing in any scene with them and you are the center of attention. It is your audience is drawn directly to you. And that's, thankfully, not thankfully, it's a huge I don't know the word I'm trying to think of right now, but that's to you. You did that. You brought that. You gave that energy. And I loved hearing, all of the stuff you went into it. But I kind of also want to talk about now the insane chemistry you had with both Ross and Matthew. There was, at no point was I ever just like, oh, I want her with this one. I want her with this one. It was like, darn it. Like she has to end up with one at the end.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that chemistry and how you guys, if that was something that was just natural that hit the first second you guys all stepped together, or was it just something that grew or you guys had to work towards?
Honestly, it was such a blessing because really with both of them, it was a natural chemistry. And in different ways, like I feel like Matthew and I are really similar. We have like I guess very similar like ways of thinking. We're both Scorpios, which we bonded over like pretty early on. And yeah, we had a lot of time like working out together and like hanging out and stuff. And then with Ross, we're such jokers. I think like we're always telling jokes, we're always improvising, like we like just take jokes, like it'll start as one thing and then build and build and build and build. And that's something that we bonded over really quickly. So I think also being away from home, like we filmed in Poland. We got there 2 weeks before we actually started rolling cameras. So we had some time to build our dynamics and fall into those like specific relationships with each of them. And then in terms of like being intimate with them on camera, we had a great intimacy coordinator named Kasha who worked with us and made us like built the environment for us to feel very safe, along with Castile, our director. He's such a pro, especially like at filming those intimate scenes. Nothing ever felt gratuitous. It felt very safe. It didn't feel like we were just, filming those scenes for hours and hours where we started to feel a little awkward. It just felt very natural. So shout out to like the crew who really created that environment for us, but also such a blessing to be paired with Matthew and Ross because we didn't do chemistry reads. And so you never know what you're going to get with like that.
No, that's a lot of trust too, going into something like that, knowing that you have these intimate scenes and you didn't do any form of chemistry. So for you as an actress, is that nerve-wracking, like going into something like that, being like, wow, this is a lot of trust and like hope you've put on me?
Yes, honestly, it is a little nerve-wracking for sure. Like I remember when I was getting ready to travel to Poland, I was like full of nerves for so many reasons. I'm like, I hope my fighting training is not going to let me down. I hope that there's chemistry there. I hope that I'm able to kind of carry the story. There were so many reasons to be nervous. But at the end of the day, honestly, as people and as artists, we have to just trust the work that we put in. And I think so much to do with like building chemistry is just being vulnerable and being present. And that's really what we ended up doing when we got to Poland. So it really worked out.
What was it like filming in Poland? That had to have been so exciting.
It was so exciting. Honestly, it was such a beautiful experience. I would go back and film there. The crew was incredibly talented. There were days where we finished like hours early, and I've never been on a set where we finished early before. And like they're just so efficient and so kind and so talented. Like the hair and makeup team who was working on us, like my character goes through a whole hair journey, and I don't think that was initially intended, but because of the collaboration and their skill, there really was a hair journey for Sienna. Like starting off with the flashback, she had extensions and straight hair when she was with Jax, and I think that kind of stems out of the insecurity to change how she naturally is. And then through the middle, she has her naturally curly hair where she's kind of like rebelling against Jax and turning away from him. And then at the end, we see her with braids, full on braids, and it's just like a warrior and so empowering and so strong. So I love a hair journey. So I loved working with the hair and makeup girls in Poland. They were amazing.
Now, did you get to explore Poland at all when you weren't filming, or did you guys keep everything pretty, close to set?
We were based in Krakow. So there's a lot going on around there. I was filming every day. I didn't have a single day off. So on the weekends I would go into the old town and see as much as I could. And we did a little bit of exploring, but I think if I went back, I'd want to like go see like the countryside and a little bit more of that.
Well, for my final question for you today, what are you hoping fans get from the movie?
I'm hoping that fans realize the power in forgiveness. I think when we hold on to resentment, we're only holding ourselves back. So forgiving ourselves for our past mistakes, forgiving those who have hurt us really allows us to step into our full and truest potential.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Thank you, Megan. So nice to talk to you.